Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Behind the Mortgage. I'm Chris Burke, and today we're going to be talking about the reverse mortgage program. I had the opportunity recently to sit down with both Shane Sletter and Kristen Livingston. With Shane, we had a great conversation about his personal journey to becoming a reverse mortgage specialist, why right now, especially, there is so much buzz around this program in the industry, and strategies to engage not only potential borrowers, but also referral partners. With Kristen, we chatted about the different initiatives as a company we're taking to reposition the program to not only let our borrowers know the benefits of reverse mortgages, but also giving all of you the tools you need to become trained and be able to offer these programs to the families in the communities that you serve. For those of you that don't know, Shane Sletter is one of the managers out in our Rancho Bernardo office. Shane, thank you very much for taking the time. Maybe we can start off by you letting everybody know, number one, how long you've been originating reverse mortgages and really the motivation to start even offering the program to borrowers.
Sure. So it's been probably 15, 16 years now that we've been doing it. And it all came about really, when the first 8 or 9 years I was in the business, I worked with my dad, and we worked closely with a group of financial advisors. And actually one of them came up to us and said, have you ever thought about, offering reverse mortgages as a solution? And neither of us really knew a whole lot about them. And, my dad had heard about them some here and there, but back then, they carried a more negative connotation to them.
Yeah.
And so we investigated it. We saw that there were not a whole lot of people doing reverses. It was kind of a little bit of a niche market. And we saw it as a great opportunity because of the fact that we were working with so many advisors as a way to add a very important option that we could then help those advisors and their clients with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. By far, you have originated more reverse loans than anybody in the company. And I've always wanted to ask, would you say that most of your clients that you put into this product are referred by wealth advisors, CPAs, a mix? Is it you just analyzing their overall situation?
Yeah, so I think it comes from a couple of different sources. Yes, obviously, the financial advisors, trust attorneys, they're a great source for the reverse mortgages, and going out there, being able to have that as a way to talk to the financial advisors almost is a good entryway, a door. In fact, for a couple of years, they only knew me as the reverse mortgage person, and I had to actually kind of explain to them, yes, I do reverse mortgages, but I also do refinances and purchases, and eventually they caught on hold of that and was able to do, help their clients with that as well. But, throughout the years, we've done events where it's been kind of open to the market, and, we've advertised reverse mortgages and got people coming in that way. My dad actually was on a radio show on the weekends for about 2 years with a trust attorney on, I think it was Kogo or something like that. And so they had one of those shows, and then they would do monthly workshops to go over the reverse mortgages. And then obviously being able to go back to my past clients and be able to recommend to them, when they get to a certain point, offering them the reverse mortgage as well.
What are some of the benefits or main reasons, I guess, where a CPA or a wealth advisor would even tell a borrower that it might benefit them in some way to talk to Shane about a reverse mortgage?
Initially, most of the time when you first talk with these other advisors, they see the reverse mortgage as an option to help those people who don't have any other options, right? It's kind of
Right.
like they don't have enough money saved up, or they're struggling, so reverse mortgage would be a good option for them. And so that's usually how it starts.
Yeah.
And then I found that I have to go back and educate them on more diverse ways of using the reverse mortgage, kind of bring it to light, get them thinking about, oh, wow, there are other strategies involved with a reverse mortgage that can be tied into a financial plan. And so it does take some fiscal and financial literacy on your own to understand and be able to talk to these financial advisors as to the benefits. But there's lots of products out there. There's books you can read. There's websites you can go to learn about that. But once you kind of start opening their eyes, they start realizing that it doesn't need to only be available for those people who haven't done a good job saving, but it can actually be used as a way to preserve and extend the money that people have saved, or give them some more flexibility, or come up with some tax benefits that maybe they didn't think about before, and maybe transfer some wealth to the heirs while they're still living versus when they pass away. So there's different strategies that can be implemented.
Awesome. And yeah, that just kind of goes back to everybody here at RWM not being transactional and really being an overall advisor, and even not for one transaction, two transactions, but you want to be their mortgage person for life, for them and their families.
Right.
So what are the biggest benefits in your opinion for reverse mortgage, or at least some of the big benefits that you're seeing for your clients, and why all the buzz? I know that not necessarily has been an uptick in originations, but it sure seems like more and more people are at least talking about reverse mortgages.
Right. The biggest benefits are the fact that you're able to either extinguish your current mortgage and payment, or tap into equity that otherwise would be dead and not being able to be utilized. And if you did want to utilize it, you'd have some sort of payment tied to it. Mm-hmm. So obviously, being in San Diego or anywhere in California for the most part, we've got great equity positions. And so for people who've had their homes for a long time, really their only option is either selling the house and cashing out, or using a product like this to be able to tap into that equity to improve their retirement. And I think, so that's one of the big benefits. The big benefit is also, again, being able to extend the life of the retirement, and instead of, because I think a lot of people, when they started saving, were expecting that they may live until 75, 80. Now we've got people who are living into their 90s, even early hundreds. And so you need to have more money stretch out longer. And many times they just don't have that money saved up. So it's a way to allow them to tap into this and not have to extinguish as much of in their retirement accounts.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a great point, especially in this environment with inflation, people on fixed incomes. I would imagine that, this is a great opportunity for a lot of people that in the past really haven't even thought about this as an option.
Right. And the reason, to answer your second part, the reason why there's, I believe, more hype about this, more people talking about it, is we're getting to the generation now who was more comfortable with debt. In the past, when I would go out and talk to people, 15 years ago, you still had a lot of these seniors who were of the age of, I have to have my house paid off. Debt is bad. I don't want to have any debt. And so you had a lot of pushback due to that. I think more people now have come to a realization that they may never have their house completely paid off, or it's okay to have some debt because of the amount of equity that's still available in the house. And it's more important to have a retirement where you can actually not feel like you're living from hand to mouth every month because you don't have enough money, and that it's okay to use these types of tools.
Sure. Yeah, great points. Now, you said you started doing this with your dad about 16 years ago, and you did say that at that time, which I know there was just some, negativity around the program. Some of their guidelines were a little bit laxed. I know since then, the government and, there's a lot of regulations to protect the borrower, basically.
Right.
Are you still running into the same types of objections, roadblocks, even maybe social stigmas, like, oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed about getting a reverse, that type of thing?
Yes, not as much. So that's good. But there are still a lot of the myths that I was debunking 15 years ago are still out there. I mean, I still hear, in fact, I met with a financial advisor the other day who still said, I'm so glad you sent me this information over, because I still thought that they signed the house over to the bank and they gave up any equity they had in the property. And so that's something, that still kind of comes up. Again, not as much as it used to, but there's still people who think that they're basically giving up the house in order to do the reverse mortgage. You still have people who, are, because of the past reputation, kind of come to me and they say they're almost ashamed, like you said, that, they're doing a reverse mortgage, and they think it's kind of a last ditch effort. And again, that's changing. It's not as much that way anymore, but it used to be when I would ask someone who did a reverse mortgage to tell their friends and family and refer me, they'd say, I don't really want to tell anyone I did a reverse mortgage.
Yeah.
Now they're more like, well, this is a life changer. This has been so great. Yeah, I'll definitely give your name out to anyone who's thinking about this. I'm going to tell everybody about it. So I think you're getting more positive feedback from that now.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny. One of my good friends, he works for a reverse mortgage company, so that's all he does. And he was telling me, when he started with the company and started selling these programs, even if the borrowers were on board, he would have to have separate meetings with family members, the
Right.
kids, because like you were saying, there's a lot of things that, maybe in the past had happened and they were just worried you're taking the house, what's going on, you're taking advantage of my parents, that type of thing. And again, it just goes back to educating yourself and letting people know that's not the case.
Yeah, that was a big issue as well, is that, it used to be that the kids were not on board. Nowadays, more than likely, we've got kids who are like, you know what, we're in good shape. You've taken care of us. Now it's time to, let you take care of yourself. We're not worried as much about the inheritance.
Gotcha. So any recent wins or success stories that you can share with us?
Yeah, I think any time we're able to get these closed for clients, there's always, I'm trying to think what was the most recent one. We had a situation where a client was, spouse was just diagnosed with dementia and was going to have to start, paying for in-home care, and they really didn't have the money to take care of that. And we were able to get the reverse mortgage done to be able to help them take care of that. We had another situation where a client had a stroke recently, and the kids got involved and helped him get the reverse mortgage, again, to be able to kind of take care of himself and be able to do some upgrades to the house that he needed to do to make sure that it was, safe, and had some things in there for him with what he was dealing with the stroke. So, I many times I'll get clients that come back to me and say, you know what, this allowed me to pay off all of the debt that was accumulating, took a lot of the stress and anxiety off of me because I was able to free myself up from, those monthly payments that were just putting pressure. And I think one of the things that I always tell the clients is, there's no reason why at this point in your life you should be having all of the stress and financial burdens and worries compounding on you to where it shortens your lifespan because of the way you're feeling. You're not able to take care of yourself, and the stress causes you to have a worse life. So utilize the fact that you've got this house that you've been blessed with, and that you've been able to accumulate this wealth in, and have it be able to help you live a longer, more fulfilling life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Those are great stories. And that's why we think it's important to get this more mainstream for RWM and educating loan officers to enter and educate their clients and let them know really the great benefits for people that fit in that, box to where it would work for them.
Right.
So like I was telling you at the beginning, one of the big focuses for Q1 for RWM is to just make the platform for loan officers that, number one, have never originated reverse mortgages at all, or just need some polishing up. Maybe it's been a few years. And I know we've gotten a lot of traction, loan officers starting to take the trainings and things like that. You being the reverse veteran of over 16 years, any advice or words of wisdom for people that are just starting to learn about these programs?
So I think the first thing to understand is it is a lot different than a traditional loan or a traditional loan process. You are going to have to deal with clients in a different way. Mm-hmm. You're going to deal with clients who aren't as hands-on with technology. You're going to have to be a lot more patient with them. Some of these transactions may take 30 days. Others, I've had some go 6 months. I've had some go a year by the time we've gotten them closed, because they do take more time to think. They're a little bit slower on making those decisions. You don't want to, put high pressure on them. So it is definitely a different way of approaching them. So I think the first thing is to understand that you are going to have to probably change up some of your processes that you go through and handle them differently. you're going to have to be much more patient
Mhm.
and willing to, a lot of times some of these seniors, they just want someone to talk to. And, they may talk to you for 15 minutes on the phone just to tell you how their dog is doing or,
Yeah.
whatever it is, right? So,
Yeah.
being willing to do that and, create that relationship with them. And then, it is something that if you're not actively continuing to get involved with and follow, because just like regular loans, there's guideline changes. There's things that come out. There's, if you get into doing the jumbo reverses, they've got changes that come out all the time. So you do need to be on top of what's happening so that you can be giving the clients the best information, giving your partners the best information, and learning some of these nuances that come along with the reverse mortgage in order to give the best advice.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it really is a different mindset. And I think the key word is patience. It's just a different animal. But once they get into it, feel comfortable, I mean, heck, that will open the door. You said a lot of the business that you're getting are from referral partners, wealth advisors, CPAs. And once they start feeling comfortable, that, gives them the opportunity to be in touch with more of these referral partners and, get
Right.
people, on board.
Right. Well, and one of the things is sometimes, for example, I just went out and met with a couple of financial advisors, and the one guy said, yeah, I've actually got someone that I refer my traditional mortgage business to. He said, but I don't have anybody that I refer my reverse mortgage business to. Or another person said, the guy I was referring reverse business to is just told me he's going to be retiring. And so what that does is it does give me that opportunity, even if it's just a reverse business, to show them what I could do, get in there, and then little by little push that other lender out and kind of show them what I can do on all of the loans.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's how it works. Well, Shane, we went through a lot of information, and this is going to be extremely helpful to the loan officers and to help with our initiative of really getting the reverse mortgage. At least borrowers and loan officers know that we actually offer them. Like I said, it's going to be very beneficial. And I think, my friend, that is all I have for you. Thanks for your time. This was really great. Always love your commentary. And again, thank you so much for being on the chat with me today.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye-bye. I am here with the one and only Kristen Livingston. First off, Kristen, I wanted to thank you for taking some time to chat with us about reverse mortgage. I know we're having a pretty big initiative for Q1, just pushing out more resources, getting reverse mortgage front and center, not only to borrowers, but to loan officers. Maybe you can just give us a high-level overview of what that's going to look like and why you think the timing of this and the push for this is good for right now.
Yeah, thanks, Chris, for having me. This feels very official. I like it. But we just noticed a lot of originators reaching out individually, asking for more information and how to get more involved with the reverse mortgage program. So we decided first to start with building out better resources with our page on RWM Connect, where it's kind of just a go-to spot where it houses all the details on how you can get started with the program, some recorded trainings you can watch. And then we've always been a big fan of the reverse mortgage program. And obviously we have some originators like Shane who, dedicate a lot of their time to developing this programs and educating borrowers. And I just think going forward, it's going to continue to be a super popular program. It's a great tool and option for people. My grandma had one, so I'm familiar with them firsthand. And so I think not a lot of companies are focusing on educating on this product. And it's going to be, it's a big helpful tool for homeowners.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And especially now, it definitely is becoming more mainstream. So, I think the timing couldn't be better for this initiative. Let's talk goals for a minute. I know I was doing some 2022 look back, and I want to say that we funded something like just south of 30 reverse mortgages, right in that range. Do you have any goals, not only for a certain number of reverse mortgage fundings, but also certified reverse mortgage loan specialists or loan originators?
Yeah, so we put together a group of operations team members together to help support this initiative. So our goals are to double our production this year. So we're aiming for 60 closed reverse loans this year.
Love it.
And then having 10 loan officers be certified and very comfortable with this product. So starting next month, we're going to start the LO focus group on the reverse loans. So we're hoping it just creates a lot of synergy around the product, sharing marketing ideas. When we met a couple weeks ago with the operations team, we had some really good ideas and just revisiting how we brand this product and the messaging around it. So I'm curious to get the LO's feedback in our first meeting. And then from there, we can figure out what to prioritize, whether it's a general seminar or webinar for people to attend, maybe doing a video overview of the program with some testimonials. So we're throwing around a few different ideas to help support the channel.
Awesome. Now you said 10 certified loan officers. Offhand, do you know how many we have currently that are certified in reverse mortgages? I know it's not a lot.
We've had in the past, and our certification program looked a little bit different, about 5, I would say, who are, I like to say, grandfathered into the certification. Yep. But now we have about 12 to 15 that are interested in originating these loans. And of course, we still have the option for loan officers to refer the reverse loans to a reverse originator if they don't want to do it themselves, because they are a little more time consuming and involve a little background knowledge on the program. But yeah, we just want to make sure the certification's really to make sure the loan officer understands the program, understands how to quote it. The compensation's a little bit different. So just making sure there's some background knowledge before they're talking with borrowers.
Got it. Now, talking about the loan officer training and the loan officer certification, once everything is officially rolled out, I know a lot of it is done already on RWM Connect, things like that. But what are we going to be doing differently now than we've done in the past, just in terms of the loan officer experience, learning the program, just as a starting point for them?
Yeah, so we did build out a step-by-step guide for loan officers regarding the reverse process. So that's going to be really helpful just to kind of wrap your head around where to start. That's been kind of a challenge in the past, is you might do one and then it could be a year before you do another one. So we just have a really clear outline of what the LO is responsible for. We also have a process flow for the rest of the workflow. So that's helpful. And then Laura Martinez is the processor for all reverse mortgage loans. And she is going to be making herself available to the loan officers to ask questions, and really is the main support person. So we're really lucky to have someone who's so experienced with the product and be able to kind of, hold your hand throughout the process.
Yeah.
So the LOs, I just really want to make sure they are more focused on educating themselves on the options, how to quote, and then, we will handhold them through the back end process of it.
Yeah, I know for sure. I definitely think it's important to have at least a starting point, whether you're a brand new originator learning about the process or just need some polishing up. And it sounds like, when everything's rolled out, we're going to have exactly that. So besides the clear-cut loan officer training, loan officer certification, I know we're kind of attacking this initiative two-prong, I guess. It's not just the training, but I know marketing is going to be throwing some firepower into this initiative. I'm going over some things that I've read from Greg. I mean, he's talking print ads, web marketing, email marketing, putting together, like you were saying, seminars for CPAs, for wealth advisors, things like that. So that's super exciting. And originally, when I heard the number in terms of the goal for 2023, wanting to double it, I was like, oh gosh, how do we do that? But when it comes to the marketing and again, the loan officer certification, I definitely think that goal is attainable. So that's definitely exciting.
Yeah, and we're seeing too, especially with the lead gen initiatives that Greg is working on, just organic leads coming through, even on the reverse product. So I know Gal saw us on HUD's website for being the longest standing reverse approved lender. And so she decided to call us out of everyone on the list. So, we were able to take that lead and close it. So just recognizing that there are people out there searching for this product. And she had done all the research herself, already did counseling, like she made it so easy for us. But I think that people are changing the way they think about this product. And I think in the past, I think there were some bad things about it, but it's, been revamped. There's a lot of regulation in place, and yeah, it's a great tool. So that's part of our initiative too, is going through and just making sure our marketing matches that. And it's not, I I've changed some language on the website in the past, calling it, I still think I see it out there. Even Liberty, our main investor, like calls it like, says elderly a lot in the language, which I don't think is going to make someone want to learn more about the product if they're being marketed that way.
Yeah, well, that's why it's so important to get marketing involved, because I mean, we literally are one of the longest standing companies doing reverse mortgages, yet a lot of our borrowers don't even know that we offer it. And that's exactly, what Shane was saying too. And he's excited about the initiative as well. And then also going back to kind of some social stigmas, some negative undertones, I think that will definitely help when marketing revamps just the whole feel of the program. And that, again, is one of the things that Shane said. It's getting better and becoming more and more mainstream, but there still is, when you say, hey, you're elderly, this is your last shot to get something done. I mean, it's really not. He gave me some really good success stories too. Really recent transactions that he did where literally it was such a benefit to the borrower, and there was no other program out there that would fit for, their circumstance. So no, that's very exciting.
Yeah, and even just having a video out there or just some, materials, so that usually sometimes people will shut you down the minute you bring up reverse mortgage just because they've heard something in the past or heard something negative from a family friend. But maybe if we have material out there that they can access on their own, and we can be really transparent with the fees and ahead of all kind of the negative things they hear out there, then it's, less of a, salesy feel, probably just being transparent, and it's free information they can access. So that's kind of how I'm hoping we can develop some of these resources.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's what we're all about, transparency and really being mortgage advisors and really looking at somebody's overall scenario and putting them in a program that fits and makes sense. I know everything isn't technically rolled out and front and center of all the loan officers, but I do know recently some people have been inquiring, and we've let them know, hey, this is what we're working on. A lot of the things in RWM Connect are already built out. Have you had any loan officers going through any of the trainings or looking at the FAQs? Just curious what their, at first glance, and if anybody's started to go through any of the trainings, what their feedback is.
Yeah, and I think I was surprised at how many people responded to the initial email saying we're going to be starting this focus group. So I'm really excited about the group. It's, all over different states. And I was excited to see that there was some participation. But yes, I would say a handful of LOs who have watched the videos. I know John Hart out in Tennessee. He's been, really engaged and wanting to learn more. Now that we're licensed to do reverses specifically in Tennessee, they're excited to start marketing that product. So yes, I think after our first meeting next month, I'll have a better gauge. But I think, and the videos aren't intimidating. They're just a short couple minutes. So I'm just trying to encourage everyone to watch it. I know it's one of those things that's easy to put off, but I think having that background is going to be helpful before, especially we all jump on the meeting and start chatting about the different programs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have raised my hand, and I would like to be one of the 10 certified loan officers in reverse mortgage.
Yeah, Chris, we need you. I actually forced you into the group. I don't know if you had a choice.
Yeah, you kind of did force me, but I'm excited about it. And I actually have started going through the trainings, and you're right, they're not intimidating. It's pretty straightforward. So no, I'm excited about everything. Last question I have for you is just about the initiative in general. We know why the timing and everything of this is good, but you specifically, why is this initiative important to you, the company, and the overall communities that we serve? And we kind of touched on a couple things, but again, it sounds like you do have personal experience with your grandmother, and putting people that really do need the program and would benefit, from having that type of program.
Yeah, I think Shane, as you mentioned, said it earlier. It's like there's nothing else out there that's going to achieve, this goal. So the one that I just closed, she owned her home free and clear. Her only income was Social Security. She lives in San Diego. So she really, and didn't have much savings. So, I can't imagine living off just your Social Security payment. And if the house needed something like a water heater or what have you, or like a medical procedure, like what are you supposed to do, other than selling your house? But then where do you go? It's not like there's much cheaper things out there. So this really is such a unique tool that's so helpful. So I'm just big on education about the program. And I think people, if they're not trying to learn more, if they do kind of fit that same kind of scenario, I don't think it's for everyone, right? But if they don't fit that, they're doing them a disservice by not educating them on this option. So I think it's cool that's even out there and offered, really.
No, I agree. Well, Kristen, again, thank you so much for your time. I know everybody appreciates you really on the sales side, along with Salesforce, spearheading everything, making the training certification process as easy and straightforward as possible. Very excited about all of the marketing initiatives. And I think this is going to be great for the company and, again, the families that we serve in 2023 and moving forward. All right. Thanks again, Kristen. Good to see you.
Thanks for joining us in the group too and participating. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. This is Kristen's first podcast. I think she hit it out of the park.
Thank you.